Have a nice day. Glad to see again in this video. Already we saw about the part 1, what we saw about adventure of the Europeans from history unit 1. I hope you are understand. Now just we recall it. Many of the foreign travelers, traders, missionaries and civil servants who came to India in the 18th and 19th centuries have left accounts of their experiences and impressions of various parts of the country. Sources of the modern India to know about the political, socio-economic, cultural developments in the country. The Portuguese, the Dutch, and the English recorded their official transaction in India. Well preserved records are very valuable. All the sources are used for historical writing. Then kinds of sources. So what is it? Written sources and material sources. We saw about Marco Polo and his book. Then what is the written sources? Literature, travel accounts, diaries, autobiographies, pamphlets, government accounts, manuscripts. Then material sources are paintings and statues, historical buildings, Indian architecture, the National Museum, the coins. Then we saw about the archives, the place where historical documents are preserved here. National Archive is located in New Delhi. It has main sources of information for understanding past administration, knowing the political, social, economic, cultural and scientific life, like that. Same Tamil Nadu Archive Museum also. Then paper currency issued by RBI. Then ancient time trade and commerce. For what? The trade was a great demand for Indian spices like pepper, cardamom, ginger, like that. Then trade relationship continued between Europe and other Asian countries. This video we will see about the land route between India and Europe. Ottoman tax captured Constantinople. Europeans find a new sea route to Asia. What is that? After the downfall of the mighty Roman Constantinople was captured by Ottoman Turks, thereby closing the land route to Asia, and it was the only land route between India and Europe. So the Europeans forced to find the new sea route to Asia. Next, Portugal. The first Europeans came to India is Portugal. Portugal was the first to discover a sea route to India. Prince Henry of Portugal, who is commonly known as the Navigator, he started the school of navigation. He encouraged his countrymen to take up the adventurous life of exploring the unknown region of the world. First, Bartholomew Dias. He was a Portuguese sailor, reached the southernmost point of Africa in 1487. Then after the Bartholomew Dias, Vasco da Gama came to India. Vasco da Gama, another Portuguese sailor. In AD 1498, Vasco da Gama reached Calicut, where he was cordially received by King Zamarin, the ruler of Calicut. A second Portuguese navigator, Pedro Alvarez Cabral, sailed towards India. You can see here, this is Portugal. This is his way came to India like this. Calicut. First he reached at Calicut and Kerala. Okay. In 1500, Vasco da Gama came to India for first he reached here in 1500. Second time Vasco da Gama came to India for the second time in 1501 with 20 ships and founded a trading center at Kannanur. One after another, they established factories at Calicut and Cochin. King Zamarin attacked the Portuguese in Cochin, but he was defeated. Cochin was the first capital of the Portuguese East India Company. After the Vasco da Gama, Francisco de Almeida arrived in India. In 1505, Francisco de Almeida was sent as the first governor for the Portuguese possessions in India. Almeida had the aim of developing the naval power of the Portuguese in India. His policy was known as the Blue Water Policy. What is the Blue Water Policy? Almeida had the aim of developing the naval power of the Portuguese in India. So, his policy was known as the Blue Water Policy. Sultans of Bijapur and Gujarat were also apprehensive of the expansion of Portuguese control of ports, which led to an alliance between Egypt, Turkey and Gujarat against Portuguese invaders. In a naval battle fought near Chaul, the combined Muslim fleet won a victory over the Portuguese fleet under Almeida's son. Almeida defeated the combined Muslim fleet in a naval battle near Dayu, and by the year 1509, Portuguese claimed the naval supremacy in Asia. Next, Alfonso de Albuquerque after Francisco de Almeida. The real founder of the Portuguese power in India was Alfonso de Albuquerque, who captured Goa and established the Portuguese authority over Ormuz in Persian Gulf. He was a Nino de Chanha. Governor Nino de Chanha moved capital from Cochin to Goa in 1530. In 1534, he acquired Bazin from Bahadur Shah of Gujarat in 1537. During the 16th century, Portuguese succeeded in capturing Goa, Daman, Dayu, Salsette, Bazin, Chaul and Bombay on the west coast, Hooghly on the Bengal coast and Santom on the Madras coast, and enjoyed good trade benefits. Next, the Dutch. The Dutch followed the Portuguese into India. In 1602, the United East India Company of Netherlands was formed, and it received the sanction of their government to trade in East India. After their arrival in India, the Dutch founded their first factory in Masulipattnam at Andhra Pradesh in 1605. The most important Indian commodities traded by the Dutch were silk, cotton, indigo, rice and opium. They monopolized the trade in black pepper and other spices. What is monopoly? Monopoly is exclusive control or possession of something. Okay, the important factories in India were Pulicat, Surat, Sinsura, Kazim Bazar, Patna, Nagapatnam, Balasur and Cochin. Next, British. In 1600, Elizabeth, the Queen of England, granted a charter to the Governor and Company of Merchants of London to trade with East Indies. The company was headed by a governor and a court of 24 directors. Captain Hawkins visited Jahangir's court and secured permission to raise a settlement at Surat. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir permitted the English to establish their factory in 1613 at Surat. Which became the headquarters of the English in Western India. Captain Nicholas Downton won another decisive victory over the Portuguese in 1614. This enhanced the British prestige at the Mughal court. In 1615, Sir Thomas Roe was sent to Jahangir's court by King James I of England, who succeeded in concluding a commercial treaty with the emperor. Before the departure of Sir Thomas Roe, the English had established their trading centers at Surat, Agra, Ahmedabad, and Broch. King Charles II of England received the island of Bombay as a part of his dowry from the Portuguese king on the occasion of his marriage with Catherine. In 1668, the East India Company acquired the island at an annual rent of £10 from Charles II. In 1690, a factory was established at Sultanati, Kalikata, and Govindapur. These are villages. These villages later grew into the city of Calcutta. The factory at Sultanati was fortified in 1696, and this new fortified settlement was named as Fort William in 1700. Next, after the Battle of Plassey in 1757 and the Battle of Buxar in 1764, the company became a political power. India was under the East India Company's rule till 1858. After it came under the direct administration of the British Crown. The Danish. On March 17, 1616, the King of Denmark, Christian IV, issued a charter and created a Danish East India Company. They established settlement at Tranquebar at Tamil Nadu in 1620 and Sirampur at Bengal in 1676. They failed to strengthen themselves in India and they sold all their settlement in India to the British in 1845. Next, French. The French East India Company was formed in 1664 by Colbert. Caron founded the first French factory in India at Surat. In 1669, second French factory at Masulipattnam. Then in 1673, the settlement of Pondicherry. Pondicherry became the most important and prosperous French settlement in India. A fort known as Saint Louis was built by Francois Martin in Pondicherry. The French East India Company established factories in different parts of India, particularly in the coastal regions such as Mahi, Karaikal, Balasore and Qasim Bazar. These were a few important trading centers of the French East India Company. The vision of the French power in India was further reinforced by the appointment of Joseph Francois Dupleix as the governor of the French East India Company in 1742. Then, since the Portuguese were eliminated by the Dutch and the later extinguished by the English, the French were left to face the English for control over trade and territory. The French neglected trade themselves in wars with Indian and other European powers. The three Carnatic Wars ruined the French and rejuvenated the English to embark on a systematic territorial expansion. The comparative success of the British over the Portuguese, the Dutch, the Danish and the French was largely due to their commercial competitiveness, spirit of supreme sacrifice, government support, naval superiority, national character and their ascendancy in Europe. Now you see, look at the picture. This is European Trade Center. Which European came to India, settled here? You can see here this is a green color. This is Portuguese settlement in India. What places? What Portuguese, isn't it? Daman, here Daman, then Basin, then Dayu, then Goa, here Goa, then Kannanur, then Calicut, Cochin. This is the settlement of Portuguese, this side, okay, western side. Then next one, I think red color French settlements. What is that? Red color French. Can see they are giving F. So what is it? Chandranagur. Here Chandranagur, Balazur. F, isn't it? Yenam. Then Pondicherry, Karaikal. Okay, that's all, isn't it? Then pink color is a Dutch settlement, DU. Can see DU. Where is it? DU? In here. Sinzura. Then here Pulicat, DU. Nagapatnam. This one Nagapatnam. Okay. Then next one, dark green. What? Danish settlement. Danish, DA. They are gave DA. Sirampur, here Sirampur. Then here Tranquebar. That's all, isn't it? 2 places only they give. Then East India, English settlement. Okay, English settlements, E. So this is Agra, Ahmedabad, Broch, Surat. Then Salsette is here. Then Bombay, this side Madras, then here Calcutta. That's all. Then last one Hooghly. Okay, you learned this one properly. Okay student, I hope you are understand this lesson. You learn well. Thank you ma.